What's up, everyone? Alright, it's Sunday evening, market's about to open. Let's talk about what's happening this week and what transpired in the past week as well. Let's start with the futures, and then I'm going to take a few minutes maybe to talk about stocks and some of the stocks to look at. I did at some point have a list of stocks to watch for the upcoming week, and so I'm going to try to attach it to this call, this actual presentation towards the end, so that you can see some of the picks and how I go about looking for some of these stocks. So let's get started. We got the Dow, okay, and remember last week we were talking about where it's going to go. We had new futures trading. We got the December futures that we're looking at now, since there was a rollover period, right? So look at the last 5 days. As you can see, we were hovering around the RAM indicator, and remember we were above, and this gap was due to the futures change, right? You'll see that it still was above the mid band, but there was no clear indication as to direction other than the fact that it was going to touch the upper band on the Bollinger. The Bollinger upper band kind of held it in, and then it popped back down below the RAM indicator. Now, what does that mean, right? What's going to happen right here? Look at this MACD. We've crossed over the zero line. The RSI, we're pretty much in between our areas of overbought, oversold conditions. So right now, what I'm looking at is a possibility of maybe going up a little bit, trying to touch it, and then maybe come back and touch the mid band. And then this indication right here, there could be some further upward, and that's what I'm talking about, making it try to cross the RAM indicator. And then when you see it hold in, when you see the bulls getting tired, you can take shorts, and that's when you come down and you look for a short. Okay, this is what's happening, right? Again, this is the same thing from last week. We had the fibs on this. The fibs are showing that we're clearly above this 23.6. If it continues, when we finally see a good trend, and I'm thinking that it's likely on the upward trend and trying to gravitate towards the top, the overall high, and so most likely it'll try to gravitate towards that. But if the bulls can't pick that up and take it up there, then we're looking backwards all the way down here. Okay, so that's what's happening on the Dow. Let's look at the NQ, NASDAQ. So on the NQ, again, I'm looking at this on a long-term basis. We're not doing short-term intraday explanation on these, or at least not on this video, right? These are not short-term predictions of what's happening. On this one, the NQ, similarly, right, we had the highs, we got the fibs, looking like it did go up above the RAM indicator. As you can see right here, it's gone above the RAM. RAM held it in, it went up, and then this high kind of held it in 1, 2, 3 times, and then the third time, boom, brought it back down. Okay, now it's trying to get the RAM indicator to be a support as well as the mid band. This mid band right here, we're looking at on the Bollinger, is what's trying to make it into support. And if that breaks, we do have another support right here, which is the 15, about 171-ish. Yep, 180, give or take, around those numbers. And that is the next support area. And if that breaks, we're going back to the lower band, which also coincides with the 23.6. And most likely, I mean, from the direction of the MACD, it's going towards down. we had the high hill, the lower hills, and the possibility of this going down. Now remember, we saw this over here. This hill kind of touched it and went back down. The hill never came back up to that high, so we're looking at some pressure downwards on the NQ. It's just that this area needs to hold, so keep an eye on that and then see if it holds. And if it does, then it's going to gravitate towards the high again. So those are the things we're looking at this week. Definitely some downward pressure as long as it's going to hold right here. We're looking at this number to hold, the RAM indicator to hold. If it supports it, we might go back up to this, right? And in this case, now the high is this because it's got 1, 2, 3. It tried to break this high, but it didn't, and now it's this one. Okay, so that's what's going on the NQ. Let's quickly look at the ES, and the reason why I always pick the ES is the ES is the slowest out of the three, and it's the most difficult to trade because even though a lot of the price action works really well with the ES, sometimes it's just very slow, and you can just be sitting there for hours. Sometimes, I mean, if you're not swing trading, you'll be sitting there for hours and whatnot. So given that, let's take a look again here with the three indicators. We got the fibs on, we got the MACD and the RSI. Okay, the RSI, again, it's in the middle somewhere, not really on the overbought, oversold area. I like to look at the 70 and 30s as an area for some real pressure. But look at this. We, again, gravitating towards the RAM indicator. It's got to hold it in. And this mid-band on the Bollinger's got to hold it in as well. So what's going to happen? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? We don't know, right? But what we can predict is that, look, it's below this RAM indicator. It's above the mid-band. What's closer, the mid-band or the upper band? It looks like the mid-band. So there's a way better chance of it going towards the mid-band, especially because, look, you had the higher hill, the smaller hill, right? And you got some indication that it could be gravitating towards down. We don't know yet. I mean, this could change and point upwards, but that all depends on how the bull reacts tomorrow. But at this point, I'm not too confident with the bulls. Although we're very close to the high, this big red candle doesn't give me that confidence. All right. So be mindful of that. And we are navigating between these two areas. One of them's got to break. We'll see where it breaks, and we got two highs, right? At the local highs. Another one of it being touched will bring it down ultimately. So just keep an eye on that. We'll have to watch this area. If this breaks the 495, then it's going down. And then the next leg would be 434. And then the next leg would be this right here where we have the fibs, the 23.6, right? And we got a close support area with this candle. All right, so that's what's happening with the ES, the NQ, and the YM, the three futures indicators that we trade. There are others like gold and other commodities, oil. I don't, even the VIX, I don't like trading those. Too many instruments. Just because you focus on one, you can master it. You focus on too many of them, you can't master none. So just be wary of that. Let's take a look at my prediction for some of the stocks to look at for this upcoming week. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm gonna I'm going to put some of this information out there. I'll show you guys how I get this information at some point, but I just want to point this out. So let's start off with, and so all of the stocks that I give you right now, do your own due diligence, right? I'm just showing you based on what I see on the charts. Do your due diligence. I don't look at fundamentals. I don't look at what the company is about, what the company is. I look at the stock symbol and some of the indicators. Okay, so you may not like the company because it could be some, crappy company that does mortgages or, does, some sort of manufacturing that nobody's heard of, right? And that's okay because you're in it for a short-term period. You're not holding it for a long term. You want to try to capture some profit. And so let's start with AFRM. Okay, and I want to show you what I look at, right? And you can put this in whatever chart tools you use. But the basic behind this is I have no idea what this company is. It's AFRM Holdings Inc. I have no idea what they do. Obviously you want to do your due diligence, right? You're not just going to buy some stock, but I would highly recommend you do your own due diligence. Figure out a way to look at things, look at the charts, look at the company, why you want to get in. And so here's the reason why this one showed up. Okay, so I have the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average as well as the histograms, right? One of the things that I look at is when it crosses, right? When the 50-day crosses over the 200-day, that means that's a bullish trend, okay? That there's room for it to go up, all right? So what you want to do is you want to look out for something like this, right? But then you want to also follow up with some of your other indicators, right? You don't want to just solely rely on one thing, right? You want to make sure that you can back it up. Maybe you might want to look at the news. I don't know what the news holds and why it's going up. AFRM shares are trading higher after Barclays maintains an overweight rating. Okay, wow. Okay, Barclays maintains it, but I don't trust Barclays, right? I mean, they could be trying to exit their shares, and so they overweight themselves, and then when the price goes up, they exit. So who knows what they do, right? That could be one of those things. But look over here, right? I mean, I had these two things because I see that, look, the stock has gone up. There's a possibility of somewhere over here is going to do a cross and come back down. There's always that possibility. And then you look at the RSI, it's way above the 70. There's a chance for it to come down, right? And you see this case, it went down. It touched it. A little bit of down, but then look, it went over here, spiked up, and then down. This is on the top of the range. There's a possibility that it might come down. This is where you would actually enter, right? So if you want to keep some stocks that are about to be buyable, right? You don't just go and blindly buy it. You look at opportunities when to buy it. If you actually go ahead and buy it right now, or well, not right now because it's Sunday, but tomorrow, this may come down, right? Only because a lot of the profit takers may want to take profit and it'll come down, and that's when actually you would want to get in. So you'll see that this crosses down here, but then it'll come back up, and that may be a reason for you to get in, because you'll see that this indicator stays above. As long as the indicator stays above, there's a positive trend and there's a possibility to buy. So highly somewhere around the 21s, 22 areas, maybe a buy, and then a few bucks, maybe take profit. That's what I'm looking at. BXMT is the next one. And so when I do these filters, right, like I see, there's been a downtrend or sideways, boom, there was a flat sideways channel and then up, and then there was a dip. But what happened in the past couple of days, maybe past month? These two have gotten very close to each other, and look at the 50 days about to cross, and it is crossed over the 200. That signs for a bullish uptrend. You got the MACD showing that it's above, right? And it was about to go down, but then went up. You got the RSI going towards the higher area, it's not completely overbought, but at some point it will be. But maybe there's some room for it to go up another few bucks, and there's a possibility of taking profit there. So that's what I see on this one. And again, 50-day and 200. This is the 200. I always like to do the 50, the green one, as a 50-day, which is the faster one. The 200 slower. You got the brown, yellow, mustard-looking color. And that's how I indicate myself. And the next one is Hamilton Beach Brands. I have no idea what this company does either. But it's been over here. You got some support area. You got some highs. You got some support area right here. You had its sideways channel. It crossed over right over here. And then you have the MACD right over here is about to go down, which indicates that it has come down, and you got the 50-day above the 200. That means, okay, all these guys that bought is taking profit, and there's some room over here for a buy area. Okay, so somewhere around the 11s, 12s, maybe a good buy. High 11, maybe 12 is a number where you can probably get in. So as long as this stays up, this is going to go down, so there may be a cross. And so obviously when you see a big red candle like this, there's going to be some maybe 2 or 3 more candles, 2 or 3 days may come down, and those are probably profit takers. That's when you would probably try to go for a long. Again, I have no idea what this news is all about. Hamilton B. ex-dividend date is Friday. What you need to know: quarterly dividends. Declares a good quarterly dividends. Probably that's about it. That's probably why. Okay. So there's a reason for possibility of an uptrend, and so this is something that I want you guys to look at. And whatever chart tools that you use, maybe you can do a search and scan for something similar. And that's how you can find and look for opportunities. And again, this is short term. You're not, because you don't know the company. I mean, this is not like an Apple or Tesla or whatever, right? Where even if you get in and you make a mistake, you can get out or hold on to those companies for a long time. I have no idea what Hamilton Beach Brand is going to do. They could go bankrupt in the next day. I don't know, right? So it's a short term thing. You look for opportunities, day trade, right? And this is why we call it day trade. You want to get in and out, make the small profit, and walk away. And then you do that over and over again with multiple stocks, come out on the positive side, right? Of course, make sure you mark your risks, and you want to get into those positions where you know where your exits are, right? If you see that an example like this, if you went long over here, expecting it to go back up, but then you see this crossing down and this goes completely down and it goes back down to, like, say 11, then you probably want to take a loss, right? Maybe look at a 1 to 3 profit ratio, right? So keep that in mind. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up here. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, any particular stocks that you want me to look at. I'm always looking at various different stocks, even though I'm not a heavy stock trader. I'm a futures trader. I do look at a lot of these things, and I'll be happy to look at something on one of these videos. Please like and subscribe, help my channel grow. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you, guys.